Welcome to Alberta Conservation Association's Harvest Your Own podcast, the resource for everything hunting, navigating through the field, the butcher shop, and the kitchen. Life is all about great food. Let's get started.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Brad Fenson, an avid outdoor enthusiast who has worked as a freelance journalist, photographer, and public speaker for over 3 decades. I have hunted, fished, and foraged all my life and hope to share my passion for the outdoors. Along the way, I want to encourage everyone to harvest wild proteins and enjoy the satisfaction of providing the next meal for your family. Our goal is to educate, entertain, and inspire individuals to get outdoors and create a connection between food, health, and your future meals. Welcome to Harvest Your Own. Today I've got 2 special guests from Onoway, Alberta, and I met these ladies through Fish and Game. They're active in the Onoway Fish and Game, and the best way to describe both of them would be hunters, anglers, trappers, outdoor enthusiasts, kayakers, anything outdoors, and best of all, that they are willing to share their passion and mentor those that don't have a chance or know where to start. So I'd like to welcome Donna Murphy and Ingrid Horner to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, and it's great to be here.
Did I get the introduction right?
You did perfect.
Oh, good.
Made it sound really good.
Maybe too good.
Well, it's probably because you fit the bill. You know, I was introduced to Women's League a few years ago when you had me come out and speak and do some cooking, and I was very impressed. You have such a wide range of women that have joined the league and come for different reasons that I thought it was a great message to share.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah. So we'll start by, what is the Onoway Women's League?
Well, the Onoway Women's League started in 2014, and I was taking a gun range course out at Onoway Fish and Game, and this short little stocky man come up to me during it, because we were renewing our firearms licenses together, and he goes, "I am the president of Onoway Fish and Game, and my name is Bob Rogers." And I had belonged to Onoway Fish and Game, but just as a member, I didn't really know who was who. And he looked, he says, "I've been watching you all weekend," he says, "and I'm looking for a woman to start a ladies' league." And I said, what's your thoughts on a ladies' league? "Well, we're just going to put some programs together for ladies that they can do all the outdoor stuff that they've always dreamt about doing, never had an opportunity." And I said, "You're on. I'm in." And my husband looked at me as if I was half loony. And so we had our very first, about a month later, we had our very first shoot. And Donna came to our first shoot because she was in, Bob Rogers went to the dental office, and there was Donna, and then he invited her. So we have been sidekicks for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
We do this together as a team along with a committee of ladies. And we formed the committee about 2 years into it because we were getting tired of doing it just the 2 of us, and now we do it as a team.
Well, you do a great job, and I follow both of you on Facebook. I know that COVID has slowed the world down entirely, and we weren't able to get together with friends, family, and leagues and clubs and all these things. But, let's just step back 2 years and talk a little bit about the league and how do you attract women to it? Like, how did you get people to come out?
We've been lucky to be invited out to Cabela's for the Ladies' Day Out. We've gotten a few ladies out of that. At the Sportsman Show also, when Onoway Fish and Game is out there, we talk to a lot of women. We always make sure we've got ladies working in the booth, so we have women that can actually talk about their experiences. And then word of mouth, we women do love to talk, believe it or not. We like to do things together too, right? You guys know that. And I mean, as you said, we have women from all walks of life, and they enjoy doing stuff outside. A lot of their girlfriends don't understand that, and they come out to us. And I mean, we have all ages from 20 to 84.
Your mom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My mom.
She's amazing. And and everybody just gets along. There's none of that drama or things that can happen, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It really impressed me the day that I came out and spoke, because there is such a wide diversity of ladies, and they're there for like so many different reasons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember talking to the one lady, and she's a single mom, and she was on a time limit. She had to get back home that night and stuff, but it was a break for her. But, she rekindled her love with the outdoors, and she had no one else to communicate with or tie into or find activities or anything.
Yes, yeah. And AFGA has actually been a backbone for us in their support. And a lot of that support came through the BOW program, Becoming an Outdoor Woman, which I volunteered instructing at, and so has Donna. And I was there from the inception in 2012 at BOW Camp. So we were able to spread the word a lot through the BOW, and then the BOW women knew what BOW Camp was about, heard about the Ladies League. And through that, we actually started groups in St. Paul and Whitecourt, and there's a group started in the south. COVID has put a stop to it, but we're hoping to rejuvenate. And again, women just talk. And I was very fortunate at the Sportsman Show to run into this really spunky little guy that was walking around with the chainsaw just going, ring! And here he is, the Canadian representative for Husqvarna. And I said, would you do a chainsaw course for the ladies? And he said, you betcha, girl. And we had 17 women. No, we had to cut it off at 22 women, I believe.
Wow.
And they had an entire long day. They cut down trees, you name it. And then we had Cabela's come out and they did a goose hunting day, an entire day of teaching us how to set up the geese, set up the patterns. And so we've had a lot of wonderful men and women instructors that have just seen an opportunity get out there to get women involved.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you come up with your topics. Is it somebody in the league say, I'd really like to learn more about pheasants? Because when I came out, you had been out with the ladies and shot a bunch of birds and cleaned them and processed them, and we were cooking some of them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And they were delicious.
They were.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not just getting together for a meal. It's like start to finish. You want to learn something new, you take it on right from square one up, and you find the right person to teach you and go over things, and everyone jumps in with both feet and finds a new passion and a new love for the outdoors.
Exactly. And in the beginning, it was just Donna and myself, and I kind of spearheaded some kind of interesting sessions, and I was shocked when women loved it. We started with doing diamond willow walking sticks and Onoway, and we had shavings and wood and beer and wine all over the place with sharp knives.
We didn't spill any.
No. And then we had a session, and I think we had 9 people show up. We were skinning squirrels.
Wow.
And we did trapping squirrels when we had one of our ladies' campouts one year, and we caught a squirrel.
We did.
And so we started with small little ideas, and then, like I said, Donna and I kind of got overwhelmed with okay, we're doing about 8 to 10 events a year. It was a little bit much, so we formed a committee, and then once a year we have a committee meeting, and everybody is given a task to come up with one event, and they run that event.
Nice. So you have events, but you also have monthly meetings or regular meetings, what do we call it?
About 2 or 3 times a year.
Okay.
We should have it more often.
Yeah, well, and normally we don't just hold a ladies' league meeting to see what everybody wants. Normally we'll hold an event. And then we always socialize. We're women. We like to do that. So we also include food, which, as you know, is super, super, super important. Guys randomly drop in for random, air quotes, for random random projects, or if they forget something at the club because they time it around meal times.
Well, it is good timing. I mean, the night we were there, I did some cooking, but everybody brought stuff. I actually copied your goose pate recipe.
Did you?
I've made like 5
cool.
different renditions of it.
It's easy to do. I can never remember what I put in it. I was like, darn it, I'm sad that I didn't have any to bring you today. I've got 3 ducks sitting in the freezer that need to be
no worries. We
put on the
can
smoker.
Sample some goodies afterwards. I just came back from the Alberta Conservation Association waterfall warm-up, and I served snow goose 3 different ways.
Did you?
Because so many people don't think that snow geese are edible, but most of them were already making plans to get out again this fall.
Oh,
so.
good.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Yeah. And that's the kind of thing the waterfall warm-up does, but it's the exact same thing that the Women's League does. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I love the fact that your topics are so widespread. I remember some ladies talking about fishing too. You take it to the fishing side, and even boat safety and kayaking.
Yes,
You bet.
indeed. Yep. Ice fishing.
Yes, ice fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's always fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything outdoors.
everything outdoors.
Now you've...
And indoors, actually, because
Right.
some women, in order to introduce some of the women to the outdoors, we need to introduce them to the women. And we've recognized that some of the women want that communication, but they don't necessarily want the outdoors. So a few years ago, Alvina's event was, we did yoga, indoor yoga, we did bracelets, we did string art, and we had a meal. Of course, everyone always has to have our meal. And the women loved it, and we got some, some keeper gals from that too, because they realized, hey, we don't have to do just outdoorsy stuff, but now they are.
It's probably the diversification that keeps everyone so keen, because I have to say, everyone that I met there that night, they weren't just league members, they were keen members.
They are. We have over 116, I think, still registered, even with COVID, just in the Onoway fishing game itself.
Now, how far away do people come to the Onoway Women's League?
Gibbons, Leduc, of course the city,
Waterman.
Barhead, so Alberta Beach, not that that's too far, but
so
Spruce Grove, Stony Plain.
It's a pretty big community.
It is, exactly.
Well, you build it, they will come, because where else can they go to get information and get other women to be mentors and answer simple questions? Just openly talk about things where you don't feel worried, anxiety. You might ask the wrong question. Like, there is no wrong question.
There is no wrong question, and I think I've asked every stupid question, Ingrid, over the years. Brain tanning. I was like, did you just put brain and tanning in the same sentence? She's like, yes, I did. And then she explained, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And that, again, just goes to show you the diversity of topics that you cover. And that's, I would have to say that comes from your love of trapping and your trapping background with your husband. Your appreciation for the outdoors is at a different level than most people, because it's your lifestyle, it's everything.
It is everything.
Right. And the further you get into it, the more exciting it gets.
And it is. And I think the part that's most endearing to my heart and to Donna's as well is to watch the women come in, and they really don't have any expectations because they really don't know what they're getting into. And then the ones that just stick. And I mean, we've got our committee, but we've got a whole whack of regulars that will not miss out. And, they're always conversing back and forth. And they're just a team of ladies. And we also have a lot of men that show up because of the food.
Right.
And but they add a dimension that some of the women need as well. It's not, because some women don't learn from other women as well as they would learn from a man.
Interesting.
And that's just a given in society, I think. Just because, but once our women are in there and then we're teaching them the skills we have, suddenly they're open to it, whereas before they wouldn't have been open to it.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know that the BOW program, they try to get women instructors for most components of it, and when they can't, they fill in with men. But it's interesting, your observations and what you've taken from the league is that you really need the balance in life. It might be a women's league, but there is a place for men to teach and be part of it.
Oh, 100%. You can't open a jar without a guy around.
We have a lot of members that would like to wear skirts and come out and spend time with the ladies' league. But I mean, with BOW program, when you leave BOW, you're so excited and you have all these basic skills and you want to share them with people and you want to get out and do them. And you get back to your fish and game club or back home, and I have nowhere to go now. I have nothing. And that's why we've been working with Alberta Fish and Game, because why have this program to get all these people excited to not have anything local and close to home for them? Because it's wonderful.
Absolutely.
It's so great.
It's just like a natural extension of the BOW program.
Totally.
It
is. It's you get fed the basics and now you want the whole meal.
Yeah. 100%.
Or even youth coming out of youth camp after they've been up at Narrow Lake Youth Camp for a few years. I mean, those young ladies are also given a love for the outdoors. They turn 18. Well, they can't go back to youth camp unless they're going as a counselor. So unless they go to BOW, there's still nothing close to home unless they can find something.
This podcast is produced for Harvest Your Own, a program dedicated to those who want to reconnect with food and health through their experiences outdoors. HarvestYourOwn.ca is a resource for individuals to learn more about hunting and the outdoors. There's information to get you started and ensure that your compass stays pointed in the right direction to be successful. Where's your next meal coming from?
We're actually lucky in Alberta to have such a wide variety of programs available for people that have no other way to get introduced to hunting,
Yes.
and we're lucky. The Harvest Your Own program has been developed to try to promote those things, and things like the Women's League that you've started.
That's awesome. And we've been very fortunate, too, because at the AGMs for Alberta Fish and Game, Donna and I have spoken probably 3 times at least. And you're looking at a sea of men, mostly older, balding men. And I actually went out and said, it looks like the old boys club around here. And got a few grimaces the very first time because it just kind of came out. And but believe it or not, over the years, the men have gone home and they have actually started ladies' leagues in their clubs because of what they've seen.
Right. And I mean, Fish and Game has a spider web of networks in the province with zones and clubs, and, they're in over 100 communities. So there's a great opportunity. And obviously, you've developed this program to share.
100%.
Yes.
So if somebody's listening, and whether you live in Fort McMurray, Lethbridge, or Provost, Alberta, and you're like, this is a great idea, and I would love to take this to the next step, how would they do it?
You could send us an email.
There you go.
You could go to your Fish and Game Club or talk to them. You could email AFGA or call AFGA. They'd put you in touch with us as well. Right.
And we actually have put a program together to help women get started, because we did have one of our first ones went a little rogue just because they didn't have that guidance. So then we sat down and said, okay, how do you start a ladies' league? This is what you do. This is, 70% should be outdoor activities, not 90% of it, It's good to have a mother-daughter night, and that binds people together. But you need to focus on getting these women slowly introduced to the outdoors. And it's just grown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm surprised when you tell me the membership of your league, and you've said it's already expanded to 7 or 8 other communities.
Probably 4 or 5.
Okay.
COVID really knocked us for a loop.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I mean, you had so
roll.
much hype and so much interest and so much excitement that I think we should just pick up where that stopped.
I love that idea.
Well, I think one thing COVID taught us is that family and friends and being home is probably a blessing in life. And why not do it within your community and share it with other people that don't have the opportunity, or that have that burning desire to find somebody to help them out to do it.
Exactly. And it's kind of like what you're doing. You're catching the flame and making that flame grow into a fire with, getting people involved in the hunting and the aspect of, like you said, with the snow goose. People didn't know that you could eat it, and that is good. And they just need that guidance. And you're a great cook. So there you go.
Well, during COVID, the one thing that you could do that felt normal was stuff outside.
It's interesting that they said early on that hunting and fishing were activities that would never be restricted, that COVID wasn't going to stop. And we saw increases in numbers, 30%.
Right.
30% more anglers, 30% more hunters. But when we analyze those numbers, there's a large majority of it are women. More women want to get involved. Sometimes they have somebody in their life to do it. I always tell people I'm lucky. My dad was a hunter. He doesn't hunt to the level I do, but he planted the seed, introduced it, made sure I got to my hunter ed courses, did, whatever it is I needed to do. If I had my grades up, he'd let me take time off school. That created what I am today, which is kind of over the top some days, but other people don't have that opportunity.
Well, they don't.
Right.
No, they don't. See, I was the same. I grew up on a farm. My dad was a major hunter.
Yeah.
I always was allowed to go with Dad, but all I could do was carry a 22. And because, I became Dad's boy on the farm with 5 girls. But at least he opened the door, and the love of hunting started there. And, Dad had 5 girls. And so you become strong, and you put your foot down and say, I'm coming with you, Dad. No ifs, ands, or buts. And he would kind of growl and hand me the 22 and tell me not to talk and not to hit, walk on leaves. And then we've got the other end of the spectrum with Donna that, her, and your mom.
Yeah, we had, before I was born, we had a hunting death in the family.
Oh.
So my dad had the trophies and he had the guns. The trophies stayed up. The guns went away. We knew we had guns in the house, but hunting is not permitted. When I went on the pheasant hunt, I got a little bit in trouble from my mom, even though I'm a grown-up person. My dad was super excited, and he's actually the one who squealed because I'm like, okay, I did something, but you can't tell Mom what I did. And then he got off the phone with me and called my mom right away. Do you know what Donna did? She shot a pheasant. So I got in trouble. But yeah, so it was, for me, so much of this is I'm learning, and I wouldn't have had the opportunity to learn this if it wasn't for Ladies League. I did want to get into shooting, and the fact that Bob walked in at the time he did, and I thought, because he said he was going to a ladies shoot, and I was like photo shoot? And he's like, no, like guns. I was like, off came my glasses. I was like, okay. Got the details, and I was there.
Yeah, and
then you were stuck with me.
I love it because, I mean, I remember she would send me pictures on text of this new gun she was holding and
Right.
another new gun. And it's kind of like, whoa, this is too cool.
You know, and it's interesting to hear the stories because if you didn't tell me, I would have thought you were both raised hunting and all the rest of it. So how many years have you been involved?
7.
7 years.
2014, yeah.
Yep.
And,
It's been an intensive 7 years of learning. It's been great, though. But yeah, like the fishing, we've only picked up the last 2-3 years. Got our boat last year. And again, it's not my husband that's going. It's my fishing partner, Dana, and her son and my son that go. So when we go, yeah.
But it's all right. You can go do it.
It's great. We get looks at the boat launch. Ingrid, you get them too when you launch the boat. Lots of, they've
Always.
stopped offering help.
Do you think this woman can back the boat
Right.
down?
Same with when you back in your trailer. Yeah.
A farm girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because I've been to a couple really busy launches. And the one I remember most, there was a lady with a lawn chair there. I'll back your boat in and I'll back it in and take you out for $10.
Nice.
And
Oh,
she
cool.
was busy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I remember coming in on a storm off of Coal Lake, and I had to back the truck down, and it was a storm. The waves were really bad, and they were across, and we got our boat, it came in. I backed down. My husband got on. He got on perfectly straight, which was amazing. And then there was a crew of guys out in a brand new 21-foot Lund, and he's hollering at my husband, "Can you get your wife to back my truck down?"
Right.
And I was like, "Really?" So I went and had a big, huge truck and a camper on the back, so I couldn't see. I couldn't reach the foot pedals. And there I am in the storm, and thank God my husband was there to guide me down.
Right.
Backed in, got these guys off the lake because they could have never gotten off the lake.
Interesting.
So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why it sticks in my mind is my wife Steph has been asked to put on trailer backing courses with
That's
the boat
right.
program and stuff. So, it would be a potential Ladies League.
You're on.
Betcha.
And she'd be good for bringing food and enjoying some wine too.
Yeah, she would be.
Hey,
Hey.
got to put her on our list.
What other activities?
Actually, she's been on our list.
Oh, has she? There you go.
I'll see
She
things
loves
you
doing
don't
that
know.
stuff too. Yes. Well, I don't.
Well, the boat camp never jived with the dates, and then the kids were so little.
Yes, and that's probably another reason why I like seeing the women's league and stuff. Is I've got 2 young girls of my own that are going to be there, and they're probably going to be some of the mentors because they get up every morning and ask if we're going fishing or if we can go goose hunting yet. So
That is fabulous.
That's awesome.
yeah,
That
And
is too cool.
I
when
want
we
to
work-
play with them.
yeah. Well, we can arrange that too.
This podcast was made possible by Alberta Conservation Association and the Harvest Your Own community. If you're interested in harvesting your own food, there's a comprehensive collection of information. To gain insight and knowledge, head to the field, harvest your own protein, prepare it, and taste the results. HarvestYourOwn.ca is a library of information from getting started and geared up to processing, butchering, and cooking wild game to make the connection between health and food.
Probably one of the stumbling blocks that I see most is people with kids are like, I can't do it. My kids are too young.
Never too young.
No, like we
Never.
take ours in the blind. We take them ice fishing. We take them camping. There's no better time to introduce them than when they're young to figure out what's right and wrong and where you can help and what to do and plant that seed, that love of the outdoors.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
You went hunting with your dad and now you trap.
Yep, we sure do. And I remember going goose hunting, could not figure out why the geese would come close by. They're my daughter, my grandson and I were all in blinds laying side by side in this field. And the geese would come in, and like 100 of them would come in, and suddenly they'd veer off and go the opposite direction. Little did I know, my grandson's got his arms outside of the thing going, doing the flippy thingy,
Right.
because so of course the geese are going to see these little hands, and then he'd poke his head out and take a look, and it was like, Christian, you got to stay in there, you have to hide.
Yes, that's where you bring the dog kennel blind for him to sit in.
Yeah, we learned a lesson. Yeah, keep him with Papa.
Yeah. Now it's interesting because I've had, in my line of work, I do lots of things outdoors and writing. I actually had a guy from New York call me one time, and he wanted to come up and shoot geese. And he had these special wings that he developed, and he was going to flap them. He wore a tuxedo and flapped these wings, and he swore that the geese had come in. So maybe your grandson was onto something.
He might have been
He's just ahead of his time.
way ahead of his
Okay,
time.
did he come and did it work?
No, he never did with
Aw.
travel restrictions and stuff. He had sent a set of wings up to me that he made. It was a pretty interesting concept, but
Did you wear them?
I wore them, but I never
I don't want to
tested
know
them.
about that story.
Oh, too cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. That sounds, interesting.
So if you were to get the Women's League, obviously not get, you're going to get the Women's League up and running again. What are some of the first activities you'd like to plan?
We were looking at planning a camp, but that's kind of right now in a yay or nay or hold because of the Delta variant coming up,
Right.
and health compromised people. 4 days of ladies altogether. Safety is our number one concern for our ladies. And that's all there is to it. And Donna and I are both in the medical profession. So we've seen the COVID black, white, and center, and we don't even want to go there.
Why wouldn't you want to take care of your community?
Yeah, that's
First
our
and
thoughts.
foremost. There will be a time when we get back together, but there's no harm in trying to plan some new events. And after people have been cooped up for 2 years, I bet you have a whole new list of ladies, if they could find out about this, that would
Right.
be like, Onoway's really not that far. Where else do they have some programs?
Yes, and we thought the camp might rejuvenate and get us going, but then when the Delta variant hit, it kind of put a little bit of a stint in it. We'll see. We'll just see what happens. And but we are going to probably come, further into the fall or the spring. We'll start with some winter programs. We'll probably start with a shoot, like on a nice winter day with a shoot. And that's how we originally started, was with a shoot. And then we'll incorporate a barbecue. And what we'll probably incorporate as well as we did at 20 Below, a lean-to building and sleep in the lean-tos. So that's something that we can do as a January, February.
Right.
And I've got my James for the chainsaw. He's still biting at the chomps to come in and do another chainsaw.
Awesome. That's great skills to learn. And even how to use an axe and build a fire and stuff like that. And it's pretty easy to social distance around a fire.
It is.
It is, yeah. Yeah, and Onoway Fish and Game, we've got a beautiful gun range, and we've got a beautiful camp spot. So you can put 2 and 2 together, and everybody can enjoy. And this way, too, it's kind of interesting. Sometimes when the women are first coming out, we can invite some of the family to join us for the dinner after the ladies
Right.
have their shoot. And it makes it a family affair. And then we'll have things just for ladies.
Yes. And you know what we've seen at the club with our ladies coming, guess what comes with us? Youth. And
Right.
We have a youth club, right? And we bring our husbands along, because my husband wasn't a member out at Onoway when I became a member. He's a vice president now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And you were the president for 2 years.
I was.
That's influence.
Yeah. That's
talk
bossy,
about
right?
Well, I wouldn't say bossy, but
yeah.
just think about the power of somebody needing their teeth cleaned to tell you there was a shoot and you took your glasses off and met Ingrid.
Right.
And where are you today?
President of Onoway Fish and Game,
Right.
past president.
Yeah.
And
I mean-
it's been a joy. It's been a joy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's really why I wanted to do a podcast on this. Is it's such a positive message. And, for ladies out there anywhere in Alberta, if you have that desire, if you have an inkling that you'd like to try it, if you'd like to get together with other people that are like-minded, if you love the outdoors and you miss getting out to do things, if you want to expand your knowledge base, your experience base, this is a great way to do it.
It is. And Onoway Fish and Game has been behind us 100%. And when the Ladies League kind of got rolling before the COVID, our volunteer hours went up by tenfold. In the beginning, I remember we would have like a gun range cleanup or a yard cleanup out there, and it would be 10, 20 people show up, the regulars. And then we actually ended up having to turn some people away because there was like 75 people showed up for a range cleanup. And
Wow.
it was the women bringing their husbands and kids along.
Yeah, our volunteer hours, because we had been tracking them, and they went. I think we were right around 3,000 volunteer hours pre-COVID year, so 2019. Yeah,
That's impressive.
yeah, 3,000 hours. So normally fishing game clubs, it's the same 8 people that come to every event, and they volunteer and do everything. We have people that are like, and even during COVID, they were like, we need some volunteer time.
You've stimulated people in the right way.
We think so.
Oh, yeah.
We know so.
We
We
know.
know
So.
so.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And, you know, what you're doing, Brad, to help rejuvenate us again since the COVID, it's been a black time. And it's been a black time for a lot of people, but it's also been, I think, a growing time. And I think a lot of us have been at home and doing some introspection into who we are and what we are. And I think what we're going to see in the future is these women that have been looking inward, that are been part of our group, are going to see what they've been missing. And they're
Right.
going to probably bring a lot more women along back with them.
Yeah, I strongly believe that's going to be the tidal wave effect. An important question to ask is there an email or a web page or something that they could go to?
Through
Onoway Fish and Game.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm www.ofga.ca. There's a link to our Ladies League page that also has our email address.
And we'll put all that information up with the podcast. People can go to the website and get it.
Perfect.
We'll make sure that it's available because, like I said, I'm hoping that this reaches a bunch of ladies, that it inspires them. And it's like, whether you wanted to catch and skin your first squirrel or make a
I got 12 in the freezer.
She's got some skunks.
Freezer
too.
burned.
willow hiking stick or handle a firearm for the first time, or just get together with some like-minded people for a fun event. It's time.
It is time. I think we need to still be very cautious for a little while, but it is time.
Right.
It's
It's time to start thinking about it. It's time to start talking about different topics, sharing those newsletters, getting the information out to other ladies. It's a powerful tool. It's there, and I think you'll see great growth in it. Any advice for ladies?
Just do it.
There's no reason to
Get
be
her
timid,
done.
right?
Yeah.
No reason to be timid.
No.
And again, like when I went out, such a wide diversity of personalities, people, and reasons why they're there. There's no reason not to step up and enjoy life. Don't hide from yourself and the things you want.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to getting an email put together with the information for our ladies to go to listen to the podcast, and hopefully we'll get some more energy flowing again.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you see a whole bunch of hits on that Onoway Fish and Game page, and they're going to look up that Women's League and either look for information to start a new program in their community, come visit you, or maybe just spy on you for a while to see what kind of events and topics and things you're going to be covering.
They can creep us for a while. We're good.
Creeping is a good thing when you're timid,
Right?
right?
That's all good.
It's how you get your toes wet.
That's right.
And we love to have women get their toes wet. A couple of years ago, I took a canoe and kayak safety course, and I had to roll the kayak, and that was in slimy water with seaweed.
And it was cold that
weekend.
weekend.
It was cold that weekend. It was horrible. But then I had the opportunity to watch a woman that was terrified of the water. And as we were walking to the water, she goes, Ingrid, I'm just terrified of flipping the canoe. And I had to think about what I was going to do. And I thought, you know what? Okay, we can get through this. And she was a huge bodybuilder. I mean, she was 6 foot tall. She's just a beautiful moose of a woman, right? And so I thought, okay, we're going to get everybody in the water, and we're going to do it at waist height. So if you flip over, you can feel where the ground is.
Yep.
So we did our canoe basics, and we didn't do the kayaks that day because we were going to focus just on getting over this woman's fear. And she flipped the canoe in standing water, and the look on her face was like, whoa. Then I watched her out in the lake.
They went 3 times.
3 times. And then when I had to leave.
Yeah, she came back. We had come back in, and some people took kayaks out, and it was sort of just free time. And she went to the end of the pier and just sat quietly by herself, had a few tears of, I did this and I can do it. And I had a little quiet time, and then.
What a powerful program.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Have you got any specific messages to close for women out there?
No matter what your talent, or no matter what your fear, or what stumbling block you think you might have, you can overcome it.
Right. Face those things.
Absolutely.
No matter how hard it is. There's people to help you. There's people that are there that want to help you.
So many resources and people that you wouldn't expect. I mean, that's what we've seen with our club is that, oh my goodness, we had so many resources in our club that we had no idea about. Like so much talent just right sitting there for us.
And so many people that were just yearning for more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, thank you very much for coming in today. It was a really fun show.
Thank you.
And I think we can count on doing a follow-up sometime in the future and maybe even get some ladies in here that are new to the program and can give a different perspective that we can share in the future.
That would be fabulous.
Awesome. You bet.
So thank you,
Brad.
Ingrid and Dona.
And thank you, Brad. This has been fabulous.
Yes, thank you.
We hope to inspire people to reconnect with nature and appreciate where your food comes from by harvesting your own. For more information on getting started or to learn specifics about the Field to Fork experience, visit harvestyourown.ca and follow on Facebook and Instagram. Check back often for new material, recipes, and videos that are posted regularly. Please subscribe to Harvest Your Own podcast and take the time to rate and review the show to help us build a dedicated core of passionate hunters as our regular audience. Until next time, embrace the outdoors and all it has to offer. Thanks for joining us.